Morning. How are
Hi,
you?
everyone. It's a beautiful summer day here in Southern California, and we're excited to be with you today.
Today we're going to be talking about kitchen and bath remodeling. I'm Robert, one of the designers here.
And I'm Janna.
So, going to move on here. There we go. There's us.
There's us.
So we're going to talk a little bit about planning your project today. We're going to talk about the design and build process, how to choose your cabinetry and materials, budgeting for your remodel. That's the number one question most people ask. And we're going to reveal some kitchens and bathrooms.
The before and afters are my favorite part. So stay till the end. We'll try to get through the nitty-gritty stuff as fast as we can, but take notes because as you consider who you're going to partner with for your new beautiful kitchen or bathroom, all of these things are very important and you might not even be thinking about it. So
exactly.
Go ahead, take it away, Robert.
Yes.
Why?
So we are a design build firm. So we are a little bit different than some other companies out there. We've been serving Orange County since 1986, and we do specialize in room additions, outdoor living, so California rooms, outdoor kitchens, indoor kitchens, bathrooms, whole home renovations. And one thing that we pride ourselves on is we have an amazing track record for referrals and past clients. About 52% of our business is repeat and referrals, which is it says something.
We love when our clients join the Pointe family and they don't want to leave. So
Exactly.
We get to see them over and over again.
So we're going to start with planning your project. How do we get started with that? So first, we want to set realistic expectations. So
get your pen.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where we should start listening here.
Exactly.
So
realistic expectations, set those. Budgeting, what do you want out of the space? Why now? If you've been thinking about this for a number of years, why is now the time to be doing this?
Mm-hmm. Where did your numbers come from that you think it might cost? You know, be sure. So often, and myself included, we're still thinking like 20 years in the past when it comes to construction costs. You know, it used to be, well, you could build a home addition for $100,000 or $200,000. And unfortunately, that's not quite the case. And everything has gone up quite significantly in 20 years. But
yeah, especially during the pandemic, things skyrocketed in price and they've sort of leveled off and stayed there now. So, but when it comes to your project, there are different options of how you can do this. You can do it yourself, which is literally you take your time or however much knowledge you have and you do it yourself. You're sourcing all the materials, you're doing the demo, you're
watching a lot of YouTube.
Exactly. Next step is either working with a contractor. So contractors tend to do the labor portion of things. Sometimes they will provide some material. Sometimes they make you provide them, or they'll give you an allowance. There's different things that contractors do.
Or they'll give you like one option or two options for the cabinetry, countertops, and anything outside of that is like, oh, wow, big change.
Exactly. And then the next option is selecting a design build firm like us. So we are design build. And what is design build? It is a little different. So we'll start with working with a contractor. Again, general contractor will subcontract things out, but you are sourcing out the architect, the interior designer, the structural engineer, all of that. You're doing that on your own. The contractor is just doing the actual work.
So that leaves you in the middle to make all of these pieces come together and all of the communication be handled properly. And I don't think there's anything more important in design and construction than communication. So that leaves you in the middle. It can be stressful for some, but some thrive in it. So you just kind of have to know, how you like to work and how much stress that you're able to handle, especially if you have another full-time job, because this definitely becomes one.
Exactly. Whereas working with Pointe, we do all that under one umbrella. So if you're working with us, it's one point of contact. We've got the design consultant, which is us. Project managers, you get a designated project manager to oversee the day-to-day operations of your project. Materials and delivery, all the decisions are made either in your home or in our showroom here where we're sitting right now, where we pick everything. Structural engineer, if your project needs to have anything structural, we have that in-house. Same with architecture.
And then you're just over there drinking mimosas. How great is that?
So again, we're full service from A to Z. It gives one point of accountability. So again, going back to that general contractor and you're sourcing all those other people, we do all that in here. So that way it's just, you're dealing with one company for everything.
Yep. And then everyone has to get along, right? So we are all one team. And when you play the middleman and everyone has to get along, they tend, and this is from past experiences, a past life, but they tend to want to point fingers, and then ultimately you're left having to solve the problem, holding the bag, whatever the issue might be, because communication was lost. So it becomes very tricky. And here we take full responsibility and full accountability, from design to end of production, and any tweaks at the end of the job, including all that too. So yeah.
So we do offer complimentary first appointments. So just drop your name and number in the chat box, and we'd be happy to come out to your home for the first visit.
So when choosing a contractor that's right for you, there are a lot of other considerations that you might not otherwise think of. And so often we even get the question, like, should we permit this? The answer to that is absolutely yes. It is a nominal cost in the scheme of a remodel. It protects you. It guarantees that your homeowner's insurance is going to cover you should anything go wrong. If you have an unpermitted remodel and you spring a leak, or God forbid, like a fire starts because of a poor electrical job that was never inspected, I'm not sure that your homeowner's insurance is actually going to cover any of that damage. And then also you want to think about resale. To sell a home with unpermitted construction gets a little bit dicey, and people tend to shy away from that. So the other thing is you want to be really confident that your contractor has liability insurance. If someone gets hurt on your property, they would, if they don't have insurance, those guys will go directly after you for their compensation. And then, workers' compensation also plays a part in that. Your property insurance, if they damage something on the property and then you're chasing after them, maybe it's just like a really nice pot outside, but that can get into the 4 figures and they never pay you back for it. If they have insurance, that's going to be a little bit easier of a conversation for them to fix something they broke, right? And then bonded. So if something happens to their company, bonding insurance is really important because it guarantees that you will kind of get your money back, or less whatever they haven't finished that you've already paid them if they go out of business or there's an emergency and they have to shut down your project. So those are all really important things to consider. And then do they have the correct licensing? A lot of times someone will hire a painter that's like, oh, I can put in an electrical sconce, no worries. And I'll try to do a little bit more. If something goes wrong, again, that's not going to be on the permit. And there's going to be issues with, whose responsibility it is. So there's a general liability insurance, specialty, whether it's roofing, plumbing, electrical, insulation, drywall, demolition. There's different licensing for all that. And Pointe carries all of that licensing. Our subcontractors carry all of that licensing. And you can rest assured that they will uphold to the California State License Board and procedures. All those kinds of things. It's boring. And then references. Always get references. You want to, we're all PIs on Google. You want to look up, see reviews. You want to see also look at the bad reviews, look at the negative reviews and really evaluate those. Like, what happened? Do you think, was the problem solved, or, how many do they have? I know that's negative, but it's important. And then also, see if there is any awards. And I think, talking to friends and neighbors is also a great thing. And if you decide to work with us, we're happy to give you references and let you talk to our past clients. And they always give us great reviews, but they're honest and they'll say, this was an issue, this is how they solved it. And that's what you really want to have confidence in your contracting partner.
Exactly. Renovation is not an exact science. So sometimes there's hiccups, and it's more, how is that hiccup resolved as opposed to that the hiccup happened in the first place.
Yeah. So again, realistic expectations. Yeah. That's and then the small business survival rates. I think one of the most frustrating things can be when you work with a contractor and then a year later you need them to come make some, tweaks or adjustments, and they're gone and no one can find them again. Or even if you had a good experience and you want to use them again, no one is around. And sadly, there's a ton of different categories and industries that don't have great survival rates when the business is small, construction being like at the bottom, and only 5% of construction, 36% of small businesses fail after 5 years. So there's a good chance that your previous contractor isn't going to be around. And that's a bummer because now you have to start over. So with us, you get a 5-year warranty, which we'll go through. Yeah. Pointe offers you a 5-year warranty. California State License Board requires 1 year for all contractors. So buyer beware, make sure they give you that warranty on all of their labor and work. But we just want to go the extra mile and give you confidence that we're still going to be around. We've been around since the 80s, since puffy sleeves were originally in, and now they're back. So if that tells you anything, hopefully we'll be around for another 40 years and more. We talked about permitting, very important. We also, in the past few years, the state of California has required lead and asbestos testing to be done before you can pull the permit, just to make sure that the conditions are safe for everybody. And so that unfortunately is now required, but it's actually a good thing. And then working with your HOA, if there's anything exterior that's being done to the home, like a window change or an addition or something, of course, everything has to go through your HOA, and that can take time. So set a realistic expectation before you can just jump in with a hammer next week and start your project. There's certain protocols in place. And then we have to get the permit before we start the work so that nobody gets fined and we don't ruffle any feathers with your city, and we can continue working happily and peacefully in your town.
Yeah. The one point I will bring up, the one question I get a lot is, well, my house is built in the 90s. Do I really need lead and asbestos? Technically, if you got a house that was built this year, 2023, and you wanted to do a remodel, you have to get it tested. So it doesn't matter the age of the home. It doesn't matter that chances are there won't be lead or asbestos in the home. It still does have to be tested. State regulations. But that's the number one question I get when we bring up lead and asbestos.
So our design process, do you want to take them through?
Sure. So our design process is a design consultation. So the first one is we come into your home, we talk about what your project is, what your expectations are, your wish list, your wants, your needs, your sort of what you'd like to have done. From that, the next step is we prepare a design agreement meeting where you come into our showroom. We invite you here. We want to show you our showroom, show you the different materials, different options you can get. We review your project, select the materials, go into the project scope and the budget construction agreement. Is once we've signed the design agreement and we've done all the design, then it's the fun part, the ramping up for permitting, demo, and we start. And then you just watch it happen.
Super relaxing.
Yeah, super relaxing.
No, but
so how much did you expect to pay? So kitchen, about the third of the cost, a little bit more, is cabinetry. Cabinetry can be expensive. There's a lot of different options out there, a lot of different configurations, which we'll touch on in a couple moments. Mm-hmm. Labor installation is about a quarter of the cost of any renovation. And then the other part is the materials, so countertops, backsplashes, flooring. Design, project management, and drywall, you can see it takes up a smaller portion of it. The big chunk of it is always going to be cabinetry and labor. Bathroom, it's a little bit less for cabinetry, obviously, because there's a lot less cabinetry. But for the labor, you'll see it's about half. Setting that many tiles, doing that amount of work, that takes a lot more time. There's a lot more plumbing in a bathroom. There's a lot more electrical usually. So you can see that the percentages are very, very different. Usually there's more tile for sure. So cabinetry does play a key role in the costs, and I think Janna will talk about this. There's different types.
So there's all different types and levels of cabinetry. Your stock cabinet, either something you pick up at Home Depot, or sometimes if you work with a GC, a general contractor, they'll have a couple doors in their little office or something that they can say, do you want white, gray, or espresso? Basically. And then semi-custom is something that we love to use here, right in the middle, where it's the only reason it's called semi-custom is because it's not locally built actually on site in your home or like in a nearby warehouse. Mm-hmm. So we can outsource that to manufactured, factory. Our cabinet factories are out of state, and they have a little bit different laws when it comes to the finish. So local custom, which is the next level, is something where they have to put a local paint or stain on the cabinetry. And unfortunately, the water-based finishes do not hold up for more than 5 years, and they need to be refinished somewhere even sooner. Mm-hmm. With semi-custom, we put this catalytic varnish. It's baked on and it has a lifetime warranty. And those are pretty much like all the beautiful satin-like finishes and a lot of things you see online. So semi-custom doesn't mean you can't get what you want. A lot of them are customizable, some more than others, but that plays a part in the cost.
Exactly.
So there's tons of choices and styles, the cabinet door style, the box frame, and that's something if you work with us, we'll kind of walk you through an education about cabinetry and how it's built to make you really consider how you want your kitchen to look, feel, and function. So you want to always go with the best value and consider the quality. So just because something is inexpensive doesn't mean it might be for you. Even though your budget's small, you may want to push and pull your budget in other areas because the quality of the cabinet is so important and you want it to last. And then size modification and flexibility also comes with a price tag. So the lower end, you can't modify it very much or at all. And then all the way up to a higher end where you can modify height, width, depth, everything to like a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the catalyzed conversion varnish. It sounds like an auto shop to me, but it's more of like, think of it like a big factory kiln, and it's going to be a solid finish. And, you know, God forbid, if something happens to that cabinet, that door front, then the lifetime warranty will cover your new door replacement in the same color that you ordered. So that's a great thing.
Exactly.
So there's tons of different door style options. We like to help our clients choose something that is going to fit their budget, their style, and the bone structure of their home, or what they're like hoping for it to be. So we have tons of door styles here in the showroom. We'd love for you to come see. And then hundreds of color chips with different paint colors on it and different wood grains with all different stains. And it's just like our little Pandora's box of fun. And you want to consider, if the budget allows, some bells and whistles would be nice, right? So we want to look at features like spice racks and the way you really use the pantry. And I don't have room for my Dyson or my
stand mixer.
Exactly. Yeah. Stand mixer, mops and brooms, big Costco purchases. So really think about how you use your kitchen and what you don't have space for now. And then as designers, we love to see a to-do list and try to design your kitchen to tailor your lifestyle, because everybody's so different, right?
Exactly. Same applies to bathrooms. Surprisingly, there's a lot more bathroom options out there than you'd think for storage. A lot of people just think cabinet, 2 doors, that's it. Yep. If you've got a larger bathroom, you can do the same sort of things, laundry pullouts, you can do trash pullouts, decorative storage, bring in some glass cabinetry or just other options into your bathroom.
Yeah. And you can even like light up some of the cabinetry because the bathroom sometimes can feel dark. You can light up the back of your cabinets with or without glass. I know one of our clients had like a lot of clothes that were all piled into this big cabinet, and she loved the fact that she could see everything just because we installed a little light strip on the inside of her frame. So
there's also a lot of different tile options. First being stone and marble. So I got a couple examples here. So stone marble, as it implies, it is a natural material. These two happen to be marble. Mm-hmm. So you get those. Next up, we've got glass. So glass is kind of fun, depends on the tile, to be honest. A lot of different modes. No, it's true.
It can be a tough installation.
Yeah, it can be tough install. It can't always be used in every scenario. Sometimes you can't use it on shower floors. Depends on the tile. It's a little bit more tricky to install. It has to be a little bit more finesse to it. We have porcelain, which is a natural material. Porcelain throughout is pretty common.
Porcelain's great in a bathroom because it is a very dense material, so it tends to be like the most waterproof. Whereas ceramic, the molecules, the sand is a little bit further apart, and so over time, we're talking a lot of time.
Yeah,
water does seep through. But we are installing ceramic tile in tons of showers. People have since the beginning of time all over the world, so don't be afraid of it. But the porcelain look is a little bit more contemporary, sleek, and it's basically like a picture of something else, almost like laminated to a piece of porcelain. And
the nice thing as well is a lot of porcelains, the color body goes through it. So if you did, for whatever reason, down the road manage to chip a tile, it's actually going to be the same color. Whereas ceramic, it's glazed on the front, different color on the back. If you chip one of these, you're going to get a different color. It's going to look brown or taupe, whatever color it is. We're going to talk about some countertops. So engineered quartz is the most common right now. A lot of people ask what makes this great. It is an engineered product, scratch resistant, heat resistant.
Resistant.
Yeah, if you try hard enough, you can stain stainless steel if you try hard enough. But it's very, very durable, very scratch resistant. I would say in kitchens, this is like 95% of people are doing this in kitchens right now, kitchens and baths.
Yep.
Next up, we've got is natural stone. A lot of people like natural stone still. A lot more colors available than what you see here. Downside is that it does need to be sealed every few years or every couple of years. So it is porous. You can stain this much easier. But it still has heat resistance to it, scratch resistance. It is still a very durable product. And then the last option, which is on there, sorry. You can actually get porcelain for countertops as well. So a lot of porcelain countertops, it's the same scenario as the tile, patterns on the front, core is a solid color. This is becoming more and more popular, starting to see this pop up in more kitchens. Very durable, again, scratch resistant, heat resistant, same durability. It is a little bit trickier for the fabricators to get the edges perfect on it, so cost for this is a bit higher.
I say not a budget-friendly material, nor is it installation-friendly, but it is possible if you have to have it.
This is also, you can use this outside. Quartz is natural stone and porcelain you can use in an outdoor kitchen. Quartz, there's only a few options that are rated for outdoor. The rest of it is indoor only. So if you're doing an outdoor kitchen, it's probably better to spend a little bit more and get the porcelain or natural stone.
Thanks, Robert.
No worries. So now we've got reveal time.
Yay. Okay. So, we're talking kitchens and bathrooms here. And so our client wanted to update a kitchen and 2 bathrooms in the house. And logistically, I think people tend to get a little tripped up, like, do I do it all at once? Do I do, one at a time? What's best? And the answer is, it depends on your home. Do you have another shower available while you renovate one? And so what we decided to do was the kitchen and the guest bath at one time, which you'll get to see. And then later, once they had a bathroom to shower in, we switched over to their primary bath. But this client had a beautiful home near the beach, and they wanted more of a coastal vibe and something that just kind of fit the rest of the house. They had beautiful decor, they had beautiful floors, and it was time for an update and to get rid of some of the black and white going on in the kitchen. So they also needed a little bit more storage space and some customization for their lifestyle and their needs as far as they grocery shop and things like that. And then in the guest bathroom, or the kids' bathroom, actually, they needed a larger vanity with some more storage and a place to display pretty things, because they had tons of beautiful things, like I said, and just really wanted it to feel more welcoming in them. So here on the left is the kitchen we started with, and on the right side is just a picture of the hall bath. So it was one of those compartmentalized bathrooms and a good sized shower in the back, but it was just a little, little
dated.
It was dated. It was beautiful. It was marble, but it just felt kind of Caesar's Palace-y to them. So save that for Vegas. Just so you get a perspective, the kitchen was at the back of the home. The bathroom that we are going to show you today was kind of in the middle over there. We didn't change anything with the layouts, which is great for a budget, especially if you're doing a lot at once. How important is it to move an appliance or move a shower to the other side of the bathroom? Is it that important? Is it going to save you? It can save you a lot of money if you keep it in the same spot. So new kitchen area.
Yeah, same area.
Same thing. New bathroom area. They asked that on the permits, and then there's some electrical plans there that you can see that we have to submit to the city. So here's some color renderings, some images. These are more of like a SketchUp renderings. We have even more detailed renderings than that here at Pointe, but this gave our client, this was, all she really needed was to understand what her materials were going to look like. Once we changed the cabinetry colors, added wallpaper, shelving, beautiful pendants over the interesting island, etc. So we did add a wine refrigerator, which required some electrical, another circuit, and some field modified custom cabinetry here at this section. And then and then here's the bathroom. So the original design had some very high-end tile that our client absolutely loved, as did we. But again, when you're doing a lot, you have to be very conscientious about what you're spending where. And did this bathroom really warrant the highest end tile? And at the end of the day, we're like, let's find something that's a little bit more cost friendly that still gives us the same vibes.
Flip over to there.
Yep, there's a photo of the new wall-to-wall vanity before they just had like a floating furniture piece kind of in the middle, and this gave them a ton of storage, and each of the girls their own drawer bank so they can put all their little ponytail stuff and all that. Yeah, they're so cute. So here's the kitchen after. Quite a departure from the black countertops. We have the layout the same. They absolutely love that. They were able to have this nice banquette in the middle that is an L shape like a booth, and it corrals the girls really well, and a place to display all of their beautiful decor items. And then of course the pendants, I think, just really set it off and make it look special.
The gold, which is popular right now.
Yep.
Gold hardware.
We added a really simple textural backsplash. She still loved like that, just that white oak wood banded hood to tie in their flooring and the shelving on the other side of the kitchen.
There's a better view of the banquette.
Yes, I love that.
Banquette, which is a neat idea.
It's a great thing if you have kids too, because they tend to want to get up and out of their chairs if they're like an individual chair. But if they're kind of confined in a booth, they tend to maybe walk on their knees and stuff, but they still stay at the table. So you can probably get them to eat a little bit more.
Exactly.
And this is just another perspective. Again, we kept every appliance original and in the same place, but we worked around them. And the hall bath, this was, I think, such a great transformation. First of all, we brought the lighting down to the two sides to bring that focal point there and to highlight your face instead of creating those downcast shadows. We ended up taking like a marble wall out and just doing ceramic tile to save on costs. And then we changed the floor a little bit, but it still had same color tones. It had an interesting pattern. It brought in like the blues and taupes and whites that she was desiring.
And the touches of gold.
Yes, the brass.
And...
Yep, and the cabinet hardware, which beautiful, and still that coastal blue and gold vibe.
Even little details that we pay attention to. Toilets tend to come with just a chrome trip lever. We think ahead, change them out to match the rest of the bathroom, which you can see in the bottom corner of this one.
Yep, which matches the shower clips. Keeping a nice bench in that huge shower, and 2 soap niches just to make sure all the girls had plenty of room for their
Lots
stuff.
Of storage.
Yep, hooks.
So we have some more before and afters from Pointe.
Thanks for staying till the end, because this is a good part. This is what I love to see. And also, if you have any questions, remember you can put them in the chat box below, and we'll be happy to answer anything that pops into your mind.
Exactly.
Almost anything.
So we're gonna start with some kitchens. This is the before. This is where we started. Darker space.
Pie-shaped island.
Pie-shaped island. These are pretty popular, or they were pretty popular. They're pretty common, I should say. I see a lot of these in certain neighborhoods. This is the after. A lot of people swap them out.
Yeah, we took that dangerous cooktop off of the island because the kids were doing their homework and my mom burned my homework. Yeah, right. Well, actually it happened. So we wanted to make that safer, and they relocated that appliance, but kind of kept everything else in the same spot.
Yeah, but a nice bigger island as well, more functional. They moved. They have a double sink now, so the main sink by the window, secondary one in the island. Another one.
This is a good one. This kitchen felt so dark. It had the dark cabinets, another kind of rounded type peninsula. There wasn't quite enough room for a full island in this project, and just got rid of like the dated materials. The cabinets to the ceiling, and really brighten it up with white cabinetry, whiter paint, and hardwood floors, lighter countertops, and that special unique marble backsplash, which just still has my heart.
Another one that was very compartmentalized. This is a structural one, so they wanted to open up the space. You can see the pantries extend in the kitchen out into the hallway. Very, very tight space.
Good luck recognizing it.
Exactly. There's the after. Take out all the walls. Nice big kitchen. They had a beautiful view. Drop ceiling was kept for ventilation. Sometimes that happens. But overall, just lightened it up again.
This kitchen looks pretty common too. We've got like the thermofoil doors, the 12 by 12 tiles on the floor, all the homes that were built in the 90s.
Yep.
And they needed a new updated look. I think they should have kept the drapes. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Spoiler alert, they didn't. So this is certainly updated. I think this is one of the largest transformations of a condo, I believe. And they did a nice tonal contemporary design, floating cabinetry in the kitchen, you guys. Like, bravo, Mike Hollander, their designer, is a rock star, especially with contemporary design. What you can do.
Next one's also pretty common, the darker cabinetry. Either you get the white light thermofoil or the dark.
This kitchen was OG, you guys. This was a 70s kitchen. We moved that wall out, and even the one that you can see on the side of the Brady Bunch oven. So that all went away, and it was part of one of our larger whole home projects. And where those bar stools are is the back of the wall that you just saw. So that's gone, and now they have this open floor plan, and they can see their beautiful view of the hills.
A lot more light gets in as well.
Into the dining room.
Yeah. There's another one. They wanted more of a coastal feel. Everything was really crammed. She was a baker, he was a cook. It just wasn't working for them and their 3 kids. So they decided to open up the whole space, make a big island, take out a few walls, reconfigure everything. The big open doors at the back, so that indoor-outdoor living is just sort of fluid in and out.
Was this an addition?
This was not an addition.
It looks like you snuck in more square footage.
Yeah, we actually did. We took out a partition wall and made a short peninsula into the larger island. And this kitchen was loaded with a lot of storage options, a lot of different features.
I love that you took the quartz to the ceiling, and you know, not super budget friendly, but absolutely stunning, and I think worth every penny.
Absolutely. And here's another one, smaller space. This one was a condo.
Well, actually, no. This was
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It looks like another one that we're used to. It just kind of wasn't their style. It was what they bought with the builder, very Mediterranean. They always get a good deal on that granite, don't they? And those color cabinets. So we wanted to make it feel bigger and taller. So we took it to the ceiling with white cabinetry, double stacked it. You can do a double stacked, or you can get a really tall cabinet with like extra tall crown molding kind of thing to mimic that feel if your budget is a little tighter there. So it's always a little trick that we like to use. And
even in a smaller space, you can sneak in. You'll see that this one has some floating shelves tucked in there. So you can still do some of the features that you see in larger kitchens in a smaller space.
Yeah, we really crammed a lot. We have some glass cabinetry. They loved white, they loved blue, they loved wood, and decided to use it all. And then they loved black, and we just had to figure out how to make that all work together. And that's in the elements of, you know, the placement of those items and bringing in touches to kind of repeat themselves around the kitchen.
Here's another one, a little bit darker, but still light. Didn't want to change the layout too much. They were kind of happy with the overall flow. A couple items they did want to shift around, but generally it stayed the same. Again, much brighter. Extend the kitchen into the living area on the right-hand side. And
they swapped work for wine over there on the left. And, you know, I mean, I feel like so many of my clients say, I never use that desk. It becomes
a dumping ground,
a catch-all, and it's just an eyesore in the kitchen. And it is probably best to just axe it if you don't use it and do something that you would use. It's easier to keep tidy.
Exactly.
Oh, this is one of my favorite kitchens. It has so much character. This was a kitchen in San Clemente, and our client she was really adventurous and wanted something very unique, but kind of felt old world at the same time. So this was actually a few years ago, and we were ahead of the game because I just saw how cool that color cabinet is today. So
green,
Kate Hudson's green, apparently. Like, we did that like a few years ago. But we had so much fun with it. We did some custom details on the island. As you can see, we did like a rectangular leg and different doors and cabinet frames over by the range.
Some touches of wood.
Our client loved copper, so we had a few copper tones throughout and a really fun like antique feeling range, which we don't sell appliances, but we can advise.
Yes.
And then a special Tabarca tile there on the backsplash.
Let's look at some bathrooms, because these are also, I know we still have bathrooms. They're just as much fun as a kitchen. So there's a before.
Okay, so loved the arches, had to keep those. It was a debate, but I'm just kidding. And so this tub, which you can't see, it took up like 50% of this giant bathroom, as did the drapery. This is kind of what they moved in with. It's, you know, not my client's fault. but they were ready for a refresh, and they needed more clothing storage and more floor space. So this is kind of a larger view coming in, but we took out the big deck tub so it felt more open and airy. It really fit the style of the home and how she had decorated it, downstairs too. So
Most people are getting rid of those big tub decks. They're in most bathrooms, it seems, and they're just so bulky. They can be so bulky.
And we didn't want it to feel plain, so we added the beams and kind of brought a little bit more life down. Don't be afraid to do that. It's the size of the beam that counts. You can put beams on a shallow ceiling and it still look good. So,
exactly. No. Here's another one. Carpet.
You guys, this is a mind-blowing transformation. Another unrecognizable one.
Exactly.
Boom.
There you go.
Contemporary bathroom, tile everywhere. Again, remember how we were talking about labor in the bathroom and how intensive that is, and make sure you budget the entire surface of your bathroom if you do it, something like this. So
exactly. It's another one, sort of plain, it's nothing really wrong with it, but nothing really right at the same time. Darker cabinetry, a bit more dated, but again, just leveling it up, that more brighter coastal contemporary. You'll see in a lot of these pictures as well that there's colors for the cabinetry. This is where you can have fun with cabinetry as well. If you're a little bit shy about using it in the kitchen, do it in the bathroom. A smaller space.
Great advice. I don't know the story on this one, to be honest.
I don't either, too much.
But let's just look at it and admire the tragedy.
There's a lot going on here.
Yes. And the tile countertops, oh man, do I feel their pain.
So they wanted to keep it apparently a little darker. So the darker floor with a nice bold pattern, tone it down in the shower a little bit, but all the white. So you'll see that there's a very bold floor, but you can balance that out with having a more simple tile design and pattern for the top.
Yes, the balance is so important. Exactly. So important. And that's something if you're like, what do you mean? Lean on your designer. We'll show you
exactly
the difference. Same thing with this bathroom, just again, a bit dated, a bit cramped, tile countertops. They weren't crazy about the layout, but we added more storage on the left, gave it some character so it wasn't just like your simple white vanity. And I love the detail of the wall-mounted faucets. Great if you're not petite like and then they carried that quartz splash that looks like soapstone all the way around in like a 10-inch fashion, which looks really contemporary and cool.
And the final before picture for a bathroom, again, carpet.
Hi.
Carpet in a bathroom, big tub deck with the big box. I remember being there for this one when we hammered into that little box to see what was in it, and it was a whole lot of nothing. So
no
a lot of times,
buried treasure?
No buried treasure. Nearly lost an iPhone in there when we were trying looking with the flashlight. But it just shows that in bathrooms, there's a lot of dead space sometimes. Things that originally was there, you can gain that for something else. Huge transformation.
Wow.
Huge for this one.
Yep. And again, tile to the ceiling. So they mixed tiles, they give it some accents, interest. We're adventurous with the patterns, but also stayed kind of conservative with the colors. Mm-hmm. So that's sometimes a good trade-off.
So let's talk about your project. Call us at the number 949-861-3400 to book your in-home consultation, complimentary.
Yeah.
We've got a couple questions here. First one is my wife is a visual type of person. She wants to see what the tiles will look like on her floor plan. What could you do for her? Well, that's why we do the renderings. We do the color rendering so that you can actually see what the space is going to look like. Because the last thing we want is for us to design a whole space with just looking at, one little tile sample.
And just then bringing it home and putting that little tile sample on the floor still isn't going to do it.
And then getting to the final product and realizing, I hate this. So that's why we do those renderings where you can actually see the whole thing. And if you don't like it, that's the time to switch it out. Absolutely. So that's why we do what we do, because a lot of our clients and ourselves as designers, we're very visual people and we need to see it before it happens. So
absolutely.
Other question is what is your opinion about Cambria material for kitchen countertop? Well, Cambria is quartz. It's a company that makes quartz. Is it the brand name for quartz?
Yes, it's a luxury brand in quartz. They're made here in the United States, which, I am all for my country and I want to support that. But, the one thing about Cambria is the way it feels and finishes on top, and you can feel the difference to other like less expensive or imported brands. they have, but also Cambria has some like really stylistically bold patterns.
Yes.
So it could be for you or maybe not, but it's, I would not be afraid to use Cambria anywhere. They're wonderful.
Yeah. And then we have one more question, or two more actually.
Yeah. So a lot of our clients will ask, like, well, how long is construction, right? So on average, we like to say from start to finish, once we're in construction, not the design phase, but from demo to,
Demo to done.
Yeah, demo to done. Thank you. Probably about 10 to 12 weeks for a kitchen. Some smaller ones go a little bit faster than that, like 8 to 10.
And it can be longer if it's structural.
Yeah.
If you're doing a lot of structure, removing walls, and you're having to put in new footings and beams, it can be longer.
12. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then a bathroom, let's say it's like a primary bath, probably I'd say 7 to 9 weeks. And so many of us want to do everything at the same time or two at the same time. And yes, that does cut down on overall time. But let's say you're doing 2 at once. Now you're probably in construction a full 4 months, but not a full, call it, 6 months where it's 3 and 3.
Right.
Primary bathrooms on their own. Yeah. Can be, it depends too on how much tile is going in, how large your space is. Are you doing your closet with it?
Are you moving things around? Like, are you taking the tub from here to over here? Anytime you move plumbing, it's a lot more. So,
yep. Especially if it's in your foundation. Now you're grinding up your foundation, pouring it, getting special inspections for that. So in the consultation, we're happy to walk through your specific questions about that. Realistic expectation being in construction, 3 to 4 months typically.
One question I've had a few times is, if they've only got one bath in the home, you've only got one bathroom, how do you renovate that and still live in the house? And really,
what did we come up with before?
It kind of boils down to
get a gym pass.
Get a gym, or how close are you with your neighbors, or do you have somewhere else you can go?
Take a vacation.
Yeah, if you can go away for some time away. It is an unfortunate circumstance, but if you've only got one bathroom, there are considerations to be made, because it will be inconvenient.
You could rent an RV.
It's
live in the driveway.
Yeah. Camping showers in your driveway.
Yeah.
So
hook up the hose. I don't know. It's a tough one. And then will the webinar be posted later? And that answer is yes.
Yes. So by the end of today, this will be on our YouTube channel.
It's at Pointe Design &Remodel. And you can find that on YouTube. You can go to our website and find links as well. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we have one more question trickling in. Thanks for your engagement, you guys. We really appreciate it.
Are you seeing contractor resources available to progress remodel work? I'm a little unsure what that question's asking. Are you seeing contractor resources? Oh, are we seeing people available? Yes. So the labor shortage, I think that's what this might be referring to. Forgive me if that's materials. The
delays and everything, probably.
So the labor shortage is still happening. That's where the general contractor side comes in. When you work with a company like Pointe, we already have those relationships with our trade partners, or it's in-house labor. So we already have all that sort of taken care of. As far as material goes, it's getting better. It's still not where it was pre-pandemic, but it's much better than it was. Cabinetry was taking up to 6 months during the pandemic. Now we're almost back to normal for most cabinet collections. So we are seeing timelines and lead times coming down, except for custom. Custom is always going to be more because it's truly made for you.
Right.
But semi-custom and readily available materials that are just being imported and or made across the country, those are what's improved greatly for sure.
Yep.
So,
and I think the only thing I've seen in the industry still taking quite a bit of time are doors and windows. So we always want to allow a little bit more ramp up time before we start your project if we're changing any of those out.
Exactly. Short of, like I said, anything custom faucets and things like that, those will take. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks so much for spending time with us today. And we hope to hear from you soon and get to meet you and see your shining faces.
Absolutely.
Have a great Thursday.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everyone.